G'day, patrons, our beloved closest friends of the podcast. Not counting Craigie, Pete Evans, Matt Gatesy Gates, the Snapping Turtle, Wayne Glue, and Thanos Peniudis, without whom there would be no show at all, of course. It's been a huge week for cookers who actually got cooked with some sort of nerve ray. They've got a spicy cough. They're covered in blisters or chancres. You know, the jury's out there.
No.
Damn you, deep state.
It's definitely the cops. It's been so huge. We've had to hold a few things back from the Conditional Release Program's weekly show so we can bring them to you, our strongest supporters, our only supporters, really, those freeloaders, fuck them, and our closest podcast friends. I don't mean that about the freeloaders. I love them. They're the best.
Excluding Eric Trump, of course, Joel, but
yes.
He's a very, very close friend of the podcast, and
love
frankly,
you, Dad.
I'd say too close. Get out of my personal space, you redneck throwback. I need to do that again.
Yeah, it's fine.
Excluding Eric Trump, of course, Joel, who's a very, very close friend of the podcast. Frankly, I'd say too close. Get out of my personal space, you red-headed throwback.
He's got a great-looking face, though. He's a good-looking boy. To kick things off, we're going back to Canberra and some very funny road rage. Let's kick it off with that, because many of you have probably seen the footage. It's a quiet Canberra street, things pretty relaxed, bit of fun and games with traffic lights before some metal-on-metal action. I love my metal. But just keep the local panel beating industry alive for the next month or so, because it got a little bit out of hand.
Yes, the offender in this case was a pro-vaccine, Chantel Fox.
Well, she was reversed into in the
start.
Yeah,
she got a bit of a tap early on.
Story.
And it was a bit sad because the kid who was driving the cooker car was sort of weeping and apologising to her mother afterwards, because Chantel had been running around the streets of Canberra giving the cookers a bit of curry.
Apparently, she's been a fucking menace, which is very funny.
And then proceeded to pull back once she got a little bit of a tap on the license plate, pulled back and then drove in. I don't know what she was doing, whether she just miscalculated or I don't know, but she's just gone bang. and almost flipped these SUVs. Yeah, she's driving an SUV, and all of these SUVs are so light up the top that you sort of just take them off balance a little bit, and they almost flip. And
mounted the smaller car, mounted it. It was insane.
It was road rage at its sort of peak. Really, no one was hurt.
Special.
No one was hurt, but then she got out and had another to do with the cooker and her daughter, who was crying, and then some other cookers came along. She ripped the flags off the car and started waving them in pieces in people's faces. The red ensign, the tiny red ensigns. Oh my God! Imagine driving in with those.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
And it was. And then she copped a social media backlash from the cookers, who are none too pleased, and issued threats of violence and all sorts of things.
They'll do that. So basically, the thing that really sparked this off is the fact that the person who was in the car in front, who apparently backed into her, and we can't say otherwise, essentially what happened was they jumped out with their little camera phone and did the usual Karen thing of, I've got a camera phone and you've done me wrong and I'm about to inflict pain upon you. But they fucked with the wrong Marine. They absolutely fucked with the wrong Marine on this point, because they didn't realize the person they were dealing with is an absolute goddamn psycho. On Reddit, apparently, she has, according to Redditors, so this is massive hearsay and it's patrons, so it's not too bad, but I mean, apparently she has a bunch of AVOs at her. She's a fucking nutter. She came out and so when she was in the car, she basically said to this girl who came up filming her thinking she was hot shit, because any anti-vaxxer with a camera phone thinks they're fucking immortal.
This is going to be great in the People's Court.
Exactly. What are you doing, you fucking bogan slut? Get the fuck out of Canberra, go get a job and find something better to do, was the response she got, which is not what she expected. She expected, oh my God, I'm so sorry I exist because you anti-vaxxers are so special. After the incident, she put on social media that she parked her car on an anti-vaxxer. She's so unapologetic. It's so funny. This person is unhinged as fuck. And the worst thing is as much as I want to back her, it's really hard to do so.
No, it was not pleasant.
Is insane. We don't know whether she basically tried to go around the car and then get away, or whether she actually tried to sideswipe
Yeah,
the
it's
car.
hard to say whether she just miscalculated or
It's
that
so
she
hard to
just did the
say.
ram.
The
Look,
cops decided she didn't, though.
she ended up getting the ACT police. I mean, the Cookers were up in arms. They wanted to, take him to the People's Court and
Big time.
and issued some frontier justice. But the cops just went, well, here's a negligent driving
fine.
ticket. Yeah. So
they're
that's all she got
so
for
pissed, but they're pissed off internationally. There were 4chan threads about her that I found. It got really, really dark. They were threatening her mother. They were trying to dox her. The doxing that I saw from her was pretty next level. It was desperate. A lot of it was wrong, but it was next level stuff. They really, really wanted blood on this. But the thing that she did, which made this entire thing so beautiful and perfect and poetic, is she posts this Instagram picture, because Instagram is pictures, right? And it's her squeezing her tits together in this suggestive way that is just enough not to get banned, but basically everything. And it says, if you'd like to insult, degrade, belittle, condemn, or attack me, please do on an appropriate platform. I will be donating 50% of funds from this chaos to Lifeline and some personal small businesses who've been impacted by this movement lately, with a link to her OnlyFans account. So basically, this entire thing is just launching her porn career.
Well, I don't know if it's a launch.
I think she's been there before.
I think she's had the OnlyFans account for a little while, I gathered.
But how brilliant! Well, I joined up, but I haven't actually seen anything because you have to give your credit card. I told Liz, and she said, sure, in the absolutely predictable kind of way. Joel. But I'm prepared to, for the podcast, and Liz, you're a patron, you can hear this. I'm prepared for the podcast, for research purposes, to put my credit card details in and see what the fuck she's up to behind that paywall, because that sounds so funny. I mean,
and that was a Sunday morning, wasn't it, Joel? So by the Sunday afternoon, it was time to move on. It was. Where did they go to? I mean, look, many of them hung around Epic for as long as the police would allow them to be there.
Defiantly,
basically allowing vehicles out but no one in. And then there were a few stragglers, including BGG, the lockdown cafe guy. What's his fucking name?
The Michael Gray Griffith.
Yeah, declaring he was homeless too after grifting 14 grand on.
He's such a liar. He's such a bad person.
He is just a terrible human being. But they had to go. Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. But the thing is,
they went to all points of the compass.
All sorts of campgrounds. And I saw this video where there was a bunch of cookers now whinging about the fact they're being evicted. And the cops were there quite reasonably saying, look, we're over capacity here. And the thing is that not only that, but this is holiday season. Grey nomads are out all over the place. And they are there in these campgrounds, having booked it possibly weeks, if not months in advance.
Months ago. And there was a story from a builder who he was in one of the campsites, and he said I go to work, I come home, I don't pay attention to all this sort of stuff. He arrived in the camp, he thought, how's the serenity? And then cookers started arriving.
Just fucking cookers everywhere.
Absolute nuisances of themselves, blocked off a lot of the camping grounds to only four-wheel drives and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they moved roadblocks.
Just
they moved fucking
lawlessness.
Just anarchy.
All over the place.
They're just the worst, man. It's just ridiculous. And look, when it comes down to it, I will say that there is a legitimate crisis mixed in with the bullshit. So you got a lot of people who are going down there in their fucking Audis, who are sitting on $75,000 thinking, I could do this for a couple of years. But then you got the ones who really are skint, the real Centrelink types,
There are people who are unvaccinated who can't return to Western Australia.
Yeah,
they simply can't cross the border.
We'll talk about those political refugees later, but let's face it. If you couldn't get back, why did you leave? I've never left the country without a passport thinking, I'll try my luck on the way home. That is fucking insane.
What could possibly go wrong?
But looking at on the Telegram group, you've got this group. Oh my God, the XPAs are really quite gassy. So you've got this Telegram group where basically people ask for donations. They're asking for petrol money.